So guys, there's been a lot of debate about this Kell Brook, Keith Thurman, and a lot of you are saying that even Kell Brook in his prime wouldn't have been able to beat Keith Thurman. Listen, I don't know. I think Kell Brook's he's a decent fighter. The thing is with Kell Brook is that Kell Brook didn't really show us anything. He showed us one fight against Sean Porter, right? And that was a razor thin fight as far as I'm concerned. Razor thin in terms of decision. It could have gone either way. But what Kell Brook showed that night, that he's world class and he can compete with the top level guys. That's what he showed on that given night. However, it's limited. You know, some people will say, well, it was a fluke performance. Because we haven't seen, even though I think Kell Brook was a quality fighter, because even the way he dealt with low-level opposition, you could tell he could fight. But the problem is, against top-level guys, we just didn't see Kell Brook enough. We saw him against 3 top-level guys. Against Golovkin, where he got battered. He did well up until he got, stopped. And Spence did okay, but he got stopped convincingly in that fight as well. And then the Sean Porter fight, which he managed to win. But it was a razor-thin decision. When you look at it from outside, yes, he was away from home and all of that. Yes, it was impressive, but the decision was razor-thin. Sky Sports' Jim Watt had him losing that fight. So that shows how close the fight was. But we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He deserves credit for winning that fight. But thing is with the Keith Thurman fight, right? That was a fight that was talked about for a while in around that time. People wanted to see that fight and they thought that would be a dynamite fight. And actually, Keith Thurman rated Kell Brook. He definitely did. He really spoke highly of Kell Brook. He actually spoke more highly of Kell Brook than he did with Amir Khan. Maybe because of the fact that Kell Brook didn't have the name. And Keith Thurman felt in the same boat as Kell Brook, so he was bigging Kell Brook up. And Amir Khan, because he was such a big name at that point, he was trying to bring Khan down. Honestly, if that fight was to have gone down, I think I would have edged it towards Thurman. I just think Thurman had good punching power. I think in his prime, I think he's a bit past it as well now. And also he had good movement. And I think that movement may have caused Kell Brook trouble. And he could punch as well. And I think it would have been a tough fight for Kell Brook. But I think Kell Brook was capable of beating him as well. I would have leaned towards Thurman, but it wouldn't have shocked me if Brook had won. I don't think Thurman was as good or Thurman was as invincible as what people thought when he was coming up. I just think he was matched really well. I think when he got matched against tougher competition, we clearly saw that he was vulnerable and he had struggled taking shots to the body. He was clearly vulnerable. And obviously after he's come back from such a long layoff and he fought Lopez and Pacquiao, he looks even more vulnerable. He looks even more there for the taking or there to be knocked out. He just looks very vulnerable. However, I do think I would have edged towards Thurman. I think Thurman would have, in my opinion, had the tools to beat Kell Brook. I think Kell Brook for me is a little static, and I think Thurman's a bit more athletic than him. And I think Thurman his movement would have caused Kell Brook all kinds of trouble. And I don't think Kell Brook punched that hard where he would have been able to stop Thurman, if I'm honest with you. I think his punching power was a bit overrated, Kell Brook, because we saw against Spence and Porter, he didn't really trouble them when it came to hurting them. I didn't see them wobbled or hurt or dropped in those fights. So, you know, I don't think his power at top level was anything exceptional. It was just decent. You know, he can get your attention. But it wasn't enough, in my opinion, to stop Keith Thurman in his tracks. And I think Keith Thurman's movement, I think Keith Thurman's punching power, I think all of that would have played in his favor. And I think he probably would have won a decision against Kell Brook. But again, it wouldn't have surprised me if Kell Brook had pulled it off. Because Kell Brook I rate Kell Brook. I think he was a good fighter. I just don't think he's proved it. He never proved that he was a good fighter because we haven't seen enough of him against the top guys. So that's why everybody's leaning towards Thurman. Is Kell Brook's own fault. He never really did enough, and that's why people always would side. Even with Garcia, they may side with Garcia over Brook because they don't think Brook's done enough. But leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Make sure to hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next video.